In this video, we're continuing with our beginner bass fishing series. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fishing with Gramps, presented by American Legacy Fishing Company. In previous videos, we showed you how to string up and get started using a spinning rod and reel. If you're brand new to bass fishing and haven't watched those videos yet, and maybe you're not ready for a baitcaster, you can watch that playlist right here on how to get started with the spinning reel. But in this video, we're getting started with a baitcaster. This is a bait casting combo from Shimano. It's the SLX series. So it's an SLX reel with a Shimano SLX rod. You can pick these up for about 140 bucks from American Legacy Fishing Company. And the reason why I start and recommend this combination particularly is, to me, it's the best value, the best bang for the buck that you can get for a rod and reel bait casting combo. It's a metal framed reel, which Shimano calls Higane. So it won't torque, it won't twist, it's not made of graphite. It's a nice solid reel that will last you for a long, long time. One of the unique things that American Legacy Fishing Company does is it lets you pick various reels and various rods. So if you have a specific setup in mind, say for chatterbaits or crankbaits, Texas rigs, you can pick a combo that goes for you within the same price point. They also have different levels of reels so that you can move up in this SLX line as you progress in your bait casting experience. In this video, we're going to keep it very simple and easy. Just get started with the very basic. If you don't know how to add line to a bait caster, you can watch the video up here, or if you want to watch it later, I'll drop it down in the video description below. All right, now the first thing we want to do once we have the line on the spool is take this line and run it over this silver bar and through this guide right here in the front, the line guide. We're going to take that and we're going to pull it through. I'm going to go ahead and pull out about 5, 6, 7 inches, and then I'm going to go ahead and close the handle so this won't pull anymore. Now, to install your casting reel onto your rod, you take and put obviously the line forward. This little lip right here, it fits right into the seat of this rod, and then you take and you push this all the way down, and you're going to start twisting, and then you're going to capture the front lip of it. So you got the front and the back lip captured, then you just tighten it down. Once you have that done, you're going to take your line and you're going to run them through all of the eyes all the way up to the tip of your rod. Pay very close attention to make sure the line passes through each eye and not like in the little spots there underneath. You want that line going through all these guides all the way through the tip. Now, one of the other reasons why I tighten that tension knob down is so when I pull on this, you see the spool stops when I stop pulling. You don't want to leave that loose when you try to run these up through the guides and you're pulling. If that keeps spinning, it's going to make the line go into what we call a bird's nest, and you'll see it kind of explode. So you want to keep that line tight as we're going through and feeding it through the guides. So again, take your time feeding the line up through each of the guides. And for us older folks with older eyes, sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do to see a little better as we come through each of the guides. And don't be in a hurry to do this, because if you drop your line, there's a good chance that it'll run right back out of each and every one of the guides. But with time, you get better at it. I like to move my hand up as my right hand gets through each guide and in through the front guide. And then what I like to do from here is I will grab my line a little bit, and then I will kind of flex that tip, and then I will look to make sure that the line is all the way through each guide. I will pull out enough line to tie on my bait. Today I'm just going to start with the simple Texas rig. If you go through the videos on my channel, you've seen where I've talked about the various rigs, knots, techniques in the spinning rod series, and most of those all apply here in the bait casting world as well. But we'll get more advanced as time goes. This is just a beginner's course. So for now, I'm just going to tie a simple improved clinch knot with my Texas rig. All right, so now we have our Texas rig tied on the end of our line. I'm going to go ahead and reel this up to within about 3 or 4 inches of the end of the rod. Now what I want to do here is if I push the thumb bar down, the bait's not going anywhere because I tightened the tension control knob down, the spool tension knob. What I want to do from here, now that I've let my thumb brake down, pushed it down, I want to slowly turn and loosen that tension control knob till my bait just starts to fall. That's a little too fast, so I'll reel it back up, push it again, loosen it just a little bit. You just want it to creep just like that. So you see, if I push the thumb bar in again, you can see that Texas rig slowly start to fall. And then I stop it with my thumb. What that's going to let us do is going to let us cast, and when that bait hits the water, it'll help keep the spool from overrunning, continuing to move forward, as we also control the spool with our thumb. So here I'm just going to do a simple little pitch. I'm just going to grab the bait in my hand, and this kind of a cast is called pitching. So I'm just going to take it. I'm holding the bait in my left hand, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little flick, let it fall and hit the water, and then as it hits the water, my thumb will stop it from continuing to spool the line out and keep me from getting what we call professional overrun or a bird's nest. I'm going to loosen that up just a little bit. I'm going to take it, I'm going to hold it in my hand, I'm going to flick it out there. As it hits the water, I'm stopping it with my thumb so that the spool stops moving. Okay, that's a pitch. This will be good for very beginners, so if you're bank fishing like I am here, and as you see over there, there's a stick up sticking out of the water right there, and there's a log that runs down the water. So if I'm fishing this, I don't need a full overhand cast to get there. I just flick it over here just like this and let it hit the water and then reel it back in slowly. So that's a pitch. Next, I'm going to do an overhand cast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my thumb down on the thumb bar and hold the spool with my thumb. And then I'm going to grab my left hand, I'm going to grab this back in. Always look where you want the bait to land in the water. Your mind's eye, after a while, will help you know when to stop this bait. It's kind of like when a quarterback throws a football to a receiver. He's not doing calculations in his head and all that. His mind's eye, after so many years of playing football and throwing passes, he knows instinctively when to throw the ball and when to let it go out of his hand. Same thing with archery. Your mind is doing the adjustments when you draw the bow back and you let the arrow fly. You're looking at the target, and after so long, practice will help you know how high to hold that bow so that the arrow flies where you want it. It's the same thing with casting. So what you're going to start out by doing, and again, your tension knob is tight, you're just going to put your thumb down on the spool, you're going to grab it, you're going to take it behind your head, and when you start to come past your ear, you're going to let it go, and it takes some practice. You'll do it over time, but you're just going to let it fly, okay? Now this part takes a lot of practice. On days you can't go fishing, the things you should be practicing in your backyard is pitching like this, looking where you want it to fall, stopping the spool when it gets there, and doing simple overhead casts. You know, I've got it dangling about a foot down below the rod tip. You just want to practice letting it fly. So you're just going to keep practicing and doing continuous. And if you have water to throw into, do it. Over time, you'll develop skill where you can loosen that knob a little and you'll have a little more control feathering that spool with your thumb as the bait flies through the air. So that was a little longer cast. I can bring that back in. I'll loosen the knob up a little bit. I'll let it fly a little farther. And then stop it right here and as it hits the water. Now I've got wind kind of blowing into me. I will turn this way and kind of let it fly, you know, using the wind so that it goes even farther. Okay, see? But this part here is just practice. We spend more time not fishing than we do fishing. So you can practice things like this at home. So when you get a little more advanced and you want to throw a little farther than you can pitch, you'll do what we call a roll cast, or coming from your side. So I'll take it back and I'll roll it and let it fly like that. Lower trajectory keeps me from getting hung up in tree branches and things like that, but lets me get out there. So that's 3 basic casts that you can start practicing with your brand new baitcaster. Now, if you don't have a baitcaster yet and you're just getting started, I recommend a combination like this: 7 foot to 7.3 long rod, medium heavy action, and a reel that's, say, a 7:5 to 1 gear ratio, or something in the 7s. You'll see 6 gear ratios, which are for a little bit slower applications like crankbaits or chatterbaits. You'll see faster ones for other applications. You can use this rod to throw. It's the most versatile there is out there. Spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, Texas rigs, you name it, you can probably throw it on it if you're going to have one just to start. Now, the thing I like about this one, it's a 2-piece. I can take it, put it in the back seat of my truck, put it in the trunk of the car, easy to get around. So when on days like today, when I want to go fish after work, I don't have to bring all my stuff. I just want to come out here and chill out, cool down before I go home, before the sun sets. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. I am here for you at any time. I will continue to make videos in this series so that you can prove your angling skills. Now, if you've got skills and you're trying to get a friend, somebody in your family, or anybody like that, you're trying to get them to start fishing, set them up with my playlist, let them work their way up through a spinning rod and eventually to a baitcaster. And like I said, drop me any comments down below with the videos that you're looking for. If you're very beginning at baitcaster and you're still having issues, let me know. In a future video, we'll go inside this baitcaster and talk about how to tune the magnets as you increase your skill levels. Right now, they're pretty much set at beginning, but there's some things that you can do to get a little more casting distance once you get the hang of it. Until next time, get outside when you can. We're not going to have days like this for very much longer, at least here in 2021. Winter's coming. We've got, a couple of months of fishing left. But hey, get outside when you can. Make some memories. If anything, take a load off and relax, like I'm doing today after a tough day at work. But get out there and make some memories, one cast at a time.